Hello, and welcome to Stocks and Tarot. In this channel, we explore the world of finance through the magic of tarot. Well, we've reached the end of 2022, and now all eyes are looking to see what's ahead for the stock market in 2023. 2022 was a year for the history books, and to quote the late Queen Elizabeth II, it was most certainly an annus horribilis. To me, it's interesting to note that the year Her Majesty was referring to was actually the year 1992, and this was another year ending in a 2. Plus, it was 20 years ago, and that's another 2. And the reason I say this is because you'll notice as we proceed through this spread that the number 2 pops up consistently throughout the entire reading. This is a significant number, the number 2, for this spread. So now back to 2022 and COVID, China, the Fed, the war in Ukraine, all these events came together to create the perfect storm for investors to deal with. These headwinds persisted for the entire year. Historically aggressive interest rate increases, courtesy of the U.S. Fed, have not only thrown cold water on the stock market, but it's created a chill in the housing markets as well. The steady and blunt hammering of the U.S. Fed has ensured that no assets have escaped the impact. Now, with all this in mind, and in the spirit of end-of-year predictions, the question we asked the tarot was, what do we need to know about the stock market in 2023? Now, before we get to the answer, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is a new channel, and I really appreciate those who are taking an interest and supporting what I'm doing here. I'm in this for the long haul, and your likes, comments, and subscriptions really help me grow this channel. So thank you. Now, on to the reading. For this reading, I didn't do my usual 3-card spread, but I decided to go with a 4-card format instead. The cards represent the recent past, the current situation, the current / near future, and the near future. I also pulled 2 clarity cards, and I checked out the card at the bottom of the deck to get an idea of what lies at the root of this reading. And I also wanted to see what the tarot has to say about current market sentiment. The bottom card to me also speaks to hidden influences and hidden meanings. Now, be sure to stick around to the end of this video, where I share a clairvoyant message that speaks directly to the 2023 market. So stick around for that. So here we go, the spread. The card that I pulled for the recent past was the Magician. To me, this card is perfect in this position because the Magician represents manifestation and manipulation. This is also my card. To me, this card represents the U.S. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell. Keywords for the Magician are golden opportunities, power, it's in your hands, willpower. The Magician represents ideas, plans, and taking action. He has ability. There's lots of potential with the Magician and desire. He's also very resourceful and creative, definitely skilled. He has the tools of the trade, and this is why he's my card for Jerome Powell, because Powell is always talking about using the tools at their disposal to accomplish what they want to do, and that is such a Magician move. The Magician also is qualified and talented, and he's productive. He likes being in charge, and he's also has strong skills with communication and concentration. So, as I said, the magician in this position makes perfect sense to me, as the past year has been dominated by the U.S. Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, and other central banks as well. The Magician uses all the tools available to him to manifest that which he desires. This card to me certainly represents Powell and the Fed using their tools to tackle the sky-high inflation problem that's plagued the entire market for the year of 2022, beginning to end. Now, the Fed desires to slow growth and to pummel inflation down to 2%. Powell and the Fed are deliberately manipulating the markets to manifest a slower economy and to suppress the markets. As I said, this was the main story for 2022 and is, in my opinion, the sole reason we are seeing such historic downside movements this past year. I also think that the magician in this position speaks to those investors who, all year long, have used their skills, their knowledge, and their creativity to the best of their abilities, trying to navigate this treacherous bear market. In numerology, the magician is a 1. Now, in numerology, the number 1 stands for new beginnings, and even though this card is in the position of the recent past, to me, it also says that 2022 was the beginning of a new era in the world of finance. After many years of a low interest rate regime, that has come to an end. And a new normal is now upon us. Now, for how long we will live this new normal, nobody knows for sure. So now we're going to move on to the current situation, and the card I pulled for the current market situation is the 7 of Wands reversed. 7 of Wands stands for being overwhelmed. The 7 of Wands indicates stress, exhaustion, admitting defeat. There's a lack of staying power with the 7 of Wands reversed. It can also speak to overselling, giving in and giving up. I think a capitulation event would be a 7 of Wands reversed event, to say the least. 7 of Wands reversed talks about battle fatigue and setbacks. And the interesting thing about the 7 of Wands reversed is it also indicates scandal and being caught out, ruin, and sometimes it actually speaks to resolution and compromise. Now, in numerology, we're looking at the number 7, and 7s in numerology stand for reflection and assessment. Is there a better card to speak to the current market situation? Really? I mean, investors are overwhelmed and feeling defeated, and they're certainly feeling battle fatigue. The 2022 bear market has seen headwinds and setbacks, and investors are feeling worn down. It's certainly a time for reflection and assessment. Many in the finance world are expecting a long, drawn-out recession just around the corner. And scandal has hit the markets with the FTX saga. And we have witnessed the ruin of Sam Bankman-Fried, and recently the admission by former CEO Caroline Ellison that she and Bankman-Fried deliberately misled FTX lenders. So it's my belief that I foresaw this scandal weeks prior to the FTX meltdown actually hitting the news. And you can see my prediction by clicking on the link to the video above and checking out at around 9 minutes, 30 seconds or so, I start talking about the scandal that's coming down the pipe. With that said, we're going to move on to the current to near future. So this is the transition we're in right now. King of Wands reversed. So another Wands, another reversed card. And the King of Wands reversed is weak and powerless. This card also indicates in a financial reading overselling. So there's overselling again. There's been a lot of overselling in this market in the last year and still continuing, that's for sure. The King of Wands reversed can be vicious. He speaks to risk. He's unpredictable. He's unreliable. He's unfocused. The King of Wands reversed, when it pops up, can sometimes let you know that you're not taking care of your finances and you're not reaching your financial goals. You might have unrealistic expectations. And King of Wands reversed says you need to use your skills to improve your financial prospects, which is the same message that you're getting from the magician. So it's time to start thinking very seriously and start executing better plans and better trades and more thoughtful trades, I would assume, moving in. I think that's, or moving forward. I think that's really what the King of Wands is trying to say here. It's a risky, vicious period. Now, the King of Wands is a very action-oriented card, but when it appears reversed, things are not going your way. People have lost faith in this market, and it's toppled. The market is weak, and it's oversold. The price movements have been vicious. There is a deep risk-off sentiment that has entrenched itself in this market since the beginning of 2022. The bulls have tried to rally several times over the last year, but the rallies have not been sustained, and their expectations have been unrealistic, to say the least. Now, the only investors who have made money in this environment have been those who have utilized their knowledge and their skills carefully and meticulously to take advantage of the extreme volatility. And that's what I was saying. That's pretty much what I was trying to say earlier. Time to use your skills to improve your financial prospects. Again, this card certainly speaks to the current market environment. And it's the environment that's going to be in place as we head into the new year. Now, the near future. This is a good card. For the near future, this is the short to near term coming up. The card I pulled was the Queen of Wands. Now, here's a positive message coming into this spread. Keywords for the Queen of Wands is she's upbeat, courageous, determined. She's passionate, powerful, and progressive. She speaks to confidence, being self-assured, being social, charismatic, vivacious, and optimistic. I like that word, optimistic. She's fertile. She's feisty. She believes in teamwork. She's energetic. And she's wholehearted. So from a finance perspective, the Queen of Wands represents strong financial decisions and confidence in making financial decisions. The Queen of Wands is fearless, and this is a good sign for the markets moving forward, as the fear indicators for 2022 have been off the charts. The Queen of Wands also represents fertility and rebirth. And I interpret this card as saying that the financial markets will be more fertile moving forward, and we will see the birth of a new bull market, or perhaps the rebirth of an existing one. The Queen of Wands is also very efficient, and she doesn't have much time for anything unproductive or that isn't cost effective. So expect whatever froth that may still be left in this market to be quickly swept away. I'm really paying attention to the number of wands in this reading. Wands represent creativity, energy, passion, and action. Their dominance in this reading makes sense to me, as my question centers around what type of market action we're going to see in 2023. And the Seven of Wands reversed and the King of Wands reversed, to me, speak clearly to the state of the markets in 2022. The Queen of Wands, however, in the near future indicates a new confidence will be seen entering the markets in 2023. So this is the change. In this position, the Queen of Wands is a sign of hope. Hope that we can have greater confidence in our investment decisions, and we're going to have more confidence that better market conditions are coming, and they're coming soon. With that said, I do believe that 2022 is a cyclical bear market within a secular bull market, and I do sense 2023 to be a year of recovery within that secular bull market. Brace yourself, though, because I also sense that the first half of 2023 is going to be very rocky. Up until around April, end of April, May, Q1 is going to be particularly treacherous, and I spoke to that in a previous video as well. With this reading, I pulled 2 clarity cards to give me a little more insight into the messages that this spread is giving us. And the first clarity card I pulled was the Two of Cups. Now, the Two of Cups stands for financial stability, reliability, balanced finances, financial security, a lack of financial stress. It also talks about unity and partnerships, attraction, connection, close bonds, pairings, joining forces, mutual respect. It talks about negotiation and trade, proper conduct, and duality. It also can represent justice and equilibrium. In numerology, it's a 2, and 2s mean or stand for pairings and choices, or partnerships and contracts. Now, this is a positive card to pull in a financial reading, as it signals a return to stability and a return to financial security and balance. While the 2 of Cups can suggest stable financial conditions, this doesn't quite signal wealth, but it does indicate financial security for a period of time. This is not a time to be reckless, though. The 2 of Cups tells me that we should expect modest but positive growth in the stock market in 2023. In this spread, the 2 of Cups pairs well with the Queen of Wands, indicating that better times are just ahead and that it's getting safe to be confident. As long as we stay prudent and efficient, we will reap the rewards of stability, balance, and prosperity. The Queen of Wands also represents teamwork, and the 2 of Cups, partnership and joining forces, trade and negotiation. Perhaps 2023 will see a return to more efficient supply chains and distribution networks. Perhaps positive developments in global trade will help foster a better global economic environment than the one we have right now. And maybe we'll see a better global economy in 2023 than what some are forecasting. We may see different forces coming together and assisting recovery at some point in 2023. This could be seen as China fully opening up, the end of the war in Ukraine, global inflation trending strongly downwards, and employment numbers remaining robust. If this all comes together in 2023, it would eliminate the worst of the headwinds that have plagued the markets for all of 2022. Maybe Jay Powell will get his soft landing. 2 of Swords is the other clarity card I pulled. And this card always speaks to being at a crossroads. It's a card of indecision. It's also a card of difficult or stressful choices. Denial and hidden information. Sometimes it can speak to being torn between 2 relationships or 2 loyalties. It can speak to fence sitting, a lack of clarity or avoidance, and sometimes an inability or unwillingness to see the truth or face your fears. Again, in numerology, it's a 2. Pairings and choices, or partnerships and contracts. So, to me, this says that markets will struggle to find a footing for the first while in 2023, as the market is still at a crossroads. There's a very strong bear narrative out there, and we are still in a strong bear market. Excuse me. Some are calling for a deep recession and maybe even a lost decade in stocks. But there's also a bull case to present and potential opportunities for the bulls to take control of this market, especially if inflation and geopolitical headwinds start showing strong signs of abating. The card speaks to difficult decisions to be made and finding balance. The previous card, the 2 of Cups, also speaks to finding balance. The 2 of Swords asks us to take off our blindfolds and to look at a situation for what it really is. What do your guts have to say about your financial situation and the current state of the stock market? When we are blindfolded, our other senses are amplified. So look to your intuition and see what it has to tell you before you make any decisions. The 2 of Swords is a card of meditation, not action. In the interim, to me, this card is suggesting that it might be a good time to take off the blindfold and to take a step back to assess and evaluate the current environment for a little while longer before making any investment decisions. One may wish to see what unfolds in the markets as we go into the new year before making any major moves. Excuse me. Now, moving on to the bottom of the deck. To me, this speaks to the market foundation, market sentiment, hidden influences, and hidden meanings. And the card at the bottom of the deck was the Judgment card, and it's in a reversed position. So when Judgment shows up reversed, it speaks to self-doubt and uncertainty, indecision, a lack of self-awareness and uncertainty, a failure to learn lessons, and a failure to learn from our mistakes. Sometimes it means that we're doubting and judging ourselves too harshly. Sometimes it can refer to distrust or stagnation. Now we're back to numerology number 2. The number on the Judgment card is actually 20, but in numerology that would be a number 2. And as I've said a few times already, 2 stand for pairings and choices, or partnerships and contracts. Now, the Judgment card reversed is a push to take time out of our busy routine, to reflect upon our financial journey so far, and to think about what you've learned. The Two of Swords and the number 7 in numerology also speak to reflection and assessment before making major financial decisions. That seems to be the common thread throughout this entire reading. Now, if the bottom card speaks to the market sentiment and hidden influence, then perhaps the Judgment card reversed is telling us that currently there are many who are afraid to make a move in case they make the wrong move and end up taking a loss. There's a lot of doubt and uncertainty out there. But with that said, reversed Judgment is actually a good financial indicator. It says that the near future will be generally stable, and you should be able to start indulging in some riskier investments. Hidden influences are at play. Okay, well, what's coming down the pipe that we are yet to be made aware of? This card is saying that there are positive influences at play behind the scenes, and that's good news. Maybe the only silver lining to the train wreck that was 2023 is that we have all learned a lot from this bear market. 2022 has given us an opportunity to take a good look around and to think carefully before we make any moves. Needless to say, this is always wise advice when it comes to investing. In 2023, the stock market will need to pick a direction. Bear market continuation or a new bull market starting, that judgment will come in 2023. So my intuitive interpretation of all of this is this reading is all about wands and the number 2. A couple of 7s thrown in there too, I might add. After a rough start, 2023, which is a number 7 in numerology, I should add, we'll see positive market action through teamwork, joining forces, and productive trade negotiations. I think that this reading is telling us to move forward into 2023 with caution, to gather our facts, to take time to assess and analyze current market conditions, and take a look at the headwinds we're still facing, and try to make educated decisions. Proceed with both eyes fully open. I feel that the year will have a very tough start, especially in the first quarter. Headwinds will prevail, in my mind, until the end of March or early May. That's when I feel positive momentum will take hold, and that's when I sense the blindfolds will come off, and there will be a continuous positive momentum in regards to both price and stability. After a cautious start, markets are going to start to stabilize, and we will gather our confidence as we move throughout the year. I would look towards the latter part of 2023 before you'll see a general feeling of certainty that the worst is behind us and that growth has resumed. To me, this will be the story of 2023, according to the tarot. Now, for a clairvoyant moment. While meditating on 2023, I clearly saw 2 images in my mind's eye. I saw a large bronze chalice with 2 distinct handles, and I also saw the image of a spade and a bucket. These appear to me as more symbols than images. Sometimes I see symbols in color, sometimes I see them more in a sepia tone. These particular symbols actually appear to me in a sepia tone. The chalice I visualized is of a medieval design. This picture is pretty much exactly what I saw in my mind's eye. The ancient design, in conjunction with the antiquated sepia tone, to me is intuitively telling me that I'm tapping into an ancient energy. As the chalice is a cup, I see this as a sign of positive emotions. Perhaps my cup will runneth over, so to speak, in 2023. I saw a large chalice, and I also had the clear impression of abundance and prosperity. Now, if I had to choose a tarot card that would represent the symbol I visualized, I would say it would be the Ace of Cups. So let's look at that. In a finance reading, the Ace of Cups represents a successful investment. It represents prosperity, financial stability, and the emotional contentment that comes with it. Aces also represent new beginnings. So perhaps we're entering a new era of financial stability. The Ace of Cups is a good omen when it pops up in a reading. And moving on, I also saw in my mind's eye an image of a spade or a shovel. The spade had a very long handle, and on the ground next to the spade sat a small bucket. If I had to choose a tarot card that would represent this symbol, I would say it would be the Seven of Pentacles. Although a spade is in tarot is actually represented by the suit of swords, the Seven of Pentacles is actually the card that resonated with me when I look at this symbol. You'll notice that with the Seven of Pentacles, the young man is actually leaning on his spade and is reflecting on his work. That's exactly the message that we've been getting all through this read. In the Seven of Pentacles, the young man has put a lot of hard work in, and he's impatient to see the results of his labor. It's been a long slog getting to where he is now. The Seven of Pentacles says that we need to understand the value and necessity of putting in time and energy now in order to enjoy long-term rewards later. It also tells us to be patient and to take time to assess our situation. Are we on the right track? Are we focusing our attention on the right tasks? If so, our hard work will pay off and we will reap the financial rewards. In the current market, I think this message also applies to the interest rate hiking regime of the U.S. Fed. They're doing the heavy lifting now, and they're putting in time and patience and energy. They're doing what's required to tackle this inflation beast, as painful as it is. And it really is what's best for the stock market moving forward. Get the pain over with now, and the rewards will be a much more stable and prosperous financial system. I think it's important to note that part of our due diligence as investors involves doing research and seeking out more knowledge and insight. The spade I visualized is also telling us that we need to dig deeper in order to create abundance. This goes for maybe properly researching companies before investing in them, and educating ourselves by taking the time to learn the workings of the market so that we can approach investing with knowledge and confidence. This is especially true for understanding our risk tolerance and for learning how to manage our risk. We also have to be sure to take stock of situations, and that was an intended pun, and face the truth, for example, like knowing when it's time to part with a losing stock, for instance. This is part of the message that the Two of Swords gives us earlier. In numerology, the Ace of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles would be the numbers 1 and 7, and we've seen these numbers already in this reading. So to me, this is validation of the messages we're receiving so far. And as I mentioned, 2023 in numerology is the number 7, so this will definitely be a year of reflection and assessment. Or to be even more specific, reflection and assessment and a new beginning are just ahead of us. So, this message doesn't just apply to investors, but for the U.S. Fed and other central banks as well. They're going to take a look. At some point, they're going to possibly be taking a look and assessing what they've done and seeing if a new beginning has started for the markets. So the big question is, will 2023 be a turnaround year for the stock market? I think so. And I think that this reading is also telling us so. But only time will tell. That's it for this reading. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to subscribe and hit the like button and leave your comments below. Your support is very much appreciated. See you next time.